Hello everyone, welcome back. The title for today's session is Vertex Coloring of Graphs. Yes, in this module we are going to discuss about coloring of graphs and its properties. First, let us see the definition of coloring of a graph. A coloring of a graph is an assignment of colors to its vertices so that no two adjacent vertices have the same color. That is, we can also say the definition is we have to define a mapping f from the vertex set to the color set. So, this type of coloring is also called as vertex coloring. For example, this example is on the screen. That G can be colored using 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 colors. Now, let us see the definition of K colorable. A graph G is K colorable if it has a coloring which uses at most K colors. Let us see the definition of chromatic number. The chromatic number of a graph G is denoted by chi of G, and that is the smallest k such that G is K colorable. Note that if chi of G is equal to K, then we will say that G is K chromatic. Let us see the theorem now. If H is a subgraph of a graph G, then chromatic number of H is less than or equal to chromatic number of G. We shall see the proof now. Suppose chromatic number of G is equal to K, then there exists a K coloring C of G. Since C assigns distinct colors to every two adjacent vertices of G, the coloring C also assigns distinct colors to every two adjacent vertices of H. Therefore, H is K colorable, and so chi of H is less than or equal to K, that is equal to chi of G. That we proved the theorem. Note that a graph G of order n has chromatic number n if and only if G is equal to Kn, that is complete graph with n vertices. Every complete K bipartite graph has chromatic number K. Since the complete graph Kn is trivially a complete n-partite graph, sorry, it is not bipartite, it is n-partite. So, chi of Kn is equal to n. A graph G of order n has chromatic number 1 if and only if G is equal to Kn complement, that is that has no edges. So, we can color that by using single color, therefore, the chromatic number is 1. Furthermore, if G is a graph of order n that is not complete, then assigning the color 1 to 2 non-adjacent vertices of G and distinct colors to the remaining n minus 2 vertices of G produces an n minus 1 coloring of G. Therefore, since at least 2 colors are needed to color the vertices of a graph G, only when G contains at least one pair of adjacent vertices, it follows that a graph G of order n has chromatic number 1 if and only if G is equal to Kn complement. Let us recall the definition of a bipartite graph. A graph G is called a bipartite graph or bigraph if the vertex set V can be partitioned into two disjoint subsets V1 and V2 such that every line of G joins a point of V1 to a point of V2, and the set ordered pair V1, V2 is called the bipartition of G. If further G contains every line joining the points of V1 to the points of V2, then G is called the complete bigraph. Let us see a theorem now. The statement is G is bicolorable if and only if it is a bipartite graph with at least one edge. We shall see the proof now. Let G be bicolorable, that is we are assuming G to be bicolorable graph. That implies we can color the vertices of G with at most 2 colors. That implies G has 2 color classes. That implies we can partition the vertex set of G into 2 sets V1 and V2 such that vertices of V1 are colored with one color and vertices of V2 are colored with the second color. Therefore, G is bipartite graph and it has at least one edge. Let G be a bipartite graph with at least one edge. That implies vertex set of G is partitioned into two sets V1 such that no vertices of V1 are adjacent to the vertices of V2. That implies single color is needed to color G, but there is at least one edge in G, hence two colors are needed to color G. Therefore, G is bicolorable. Now, we are going to apply the concept of coloring to some of the graphs. This is K5. So, according to the definition of coloring, we have to give every vertex a color, which means I can give different color to all the vertices. That is, I can give V1, I can give C1 to V1 and C2 to V2 and C3 to V3, C4 to V4 and C5 to V5. So, we can give a different color to all the vertices, but when we speak of the chromatic number, we are interested in finding the minimum coloring of vertices. Here, since this is a complete graph, we cannot give the same color to two different vertices because every vertex is incident with all other vertices, which means that here I have to give a different color to all the vertices and that is minimum here, which means that my chromatic number, that is denoted by chi, I already told you. Therefore, the chromatic number of K5, that is equal to 5, which means this is 5 colorable. And then now consider the complement of K5. K5 complement, that is nothing but that is a graph which consists of 5 vertices and no edges. So, since there is no edge in this graph, which means that all points are isolated here, which means no 2 points are adjacent to each other, I can give a single color to all the vertices, and I can also give a different color to V1 and another different color to V2 and another different color V3 and different color to V4, different color to V5. That is, I can give 5 colors to this graph, but what is minimum here? The minimum coloring is 1. So, I can color this graph with one color satisfying the requirement of the definition of coloring, which means here the chromatic number of K5 complement is equal to 1, that is denoted by chi of K5 complement is equal to 1. Now, look at this graph. We are going to color this graph and we are going to find the chromatic number of this graph. Okay. So, look at here, this is a vertex V1. I am going to give the color C1 to this vertex V1 and I cannot give the same color C1 to V2, V4 and V6 because these 3 vertices are adjacent to V1, which means that I have to give a different color other than C1. I am going to give C2 to V2 and V6 and V4. And I can also give a third color, that is C3 to V3 as well as V5. But what happens here is we are interested in finding the minimum number rather than the maximum, which means I am going to give the same color C1 to this vertex as well as this vertex because this V3 is not adjacent to V1 and V5 is also not adjacent to V1 and V3 and V5 are not adjacent to each other. So, I can color this graph with by using 2 colors itself, which means the chromatic number of G is here is 2. We have already seen a theorem stating that chromatic number of H is less than or equal to chromatic number of G if H is a subgraph of G. Consider vertices V1 and V2 and this is a graph, obviously this is a subgraph of this graph. Here I am going to give the color C1 to this and the same color C1 to this vertex also. Here the chromatic number is 1, which means here I am getting chromatic number is 1, that is obviously less than 2 here. Here I am going to give C1 to this vertex as well as C1 to this vertex, not C2. So, chromatic number is 1 and 1 is less than 2, that is obviously equal to chi of G. So, I proved, we verified that theorem by this example. Now, let us move to this complete bipartite graph with 6 vertices K 3, 3. So, this is bipartite and it is complete. So, if I give a color U1 to C1 to U1 I can give the same color C1 to U2 and the same color C1 to U3 because no three of these vertices are adjacent to each other. So I can and then I have to give a different color other than U1 to C2 because U1 is adjacent to V1 and I can give the same color C2 to V2 and the same color C2 to V3 because V1, V2, V2, V3 are not adjacent to each other, which means that I can color this graph by using two colors. Therefore, chromatic number here is 2, that is chi of k3, 3 is equal to 2. Let's see the definition of independent set and independence number. Independent set is a set of vertices in which no two vertices are adjacent to each other, and independence number is the cardinality of maximal independent set. When we say maximal, it need not be a unique maximal independent set. We can have more than one maximal independent set, and cardinality of that set we call as independence number, that is denoted by alpha of G, sometimes alpha naught of G. Let's see the definition of critical graph. If G is a critical graph of K, that is if G is said to be K critical, if chromatic number of G difference V is equal to K minus 1 for every V in V of G. That is, if we remove vertices, that is single vertices from a graph, then chromatic number that should also get reduced by 1. Then we say that G is K critical. Let's see some examples. Okay, so we are going to find independent set and independence number for this graph G. Consider this graph. So, as we discussed earlier, independent set is a set of vertices in which no two vertices are adjacent to each other. So, here if I consider the V6 alone, V6 alone is an independent set because it does not have any other vertices to be adjacent, which means V6 is an independent set. Every singleton vertices is an independent set. Every singleton set of vertex is independent set. And V1, V3. So, V1 is here, V3 is here. V1 is not adjacent to V3 and this is also an independent set. V2, V4, V2 and V4 are not adjacent to each other. This is also independent set. And V1, V4, V6, that is V1, V4, V6, that is also an independent set. But here we are interested in finding maximal independent set as well as the number. So, here the maximal independent set, the cardinality here is 1, 2, 2, here the cardinality is 3. So, we call that as alpha of G. Alpha of G here is 3. So, in this case we are getting one maximal independent set, and when we look at the different graphs, we need not have we need not always have a single maximal independent set. We can have more than one also. Now, see the example for critical graph. Consider this graph. This is K4 and the chromatic number of this graph is 4. That is, we already seen for every complete graph with P vertices, the chromatic number is P. Here it is a complete graph with 4 vertices, the chromatic number is 4. So, what happens if I remove a vertex from this graph? For example, consider this. If I remove this vertex V3 from this graph, it will become a K3, that is, this vertex will go off and the edges this and this and this will get removed, which means I will be left out with only this K3 and there the chromatic number is 3. The chromatic number is also reduced by 1. If I remove V3, the chromatic number is 3. Similarly, if I remove V2, the chromatic number is again 3. I am getting this graph alone, the chromatic number is 3. If I remove V1, the chromatic number is again 3. If I remove V4, the chromatic number is 3. So, for this graph, having all the 4 vertices, the chromatic number is 4, and if I remove a single vertex, that is either V1, V2, V3 or V4, the chromatic number is also getting reduced by 1, which means this graph is a 4 critical graph according to the definition of critical graph. Let's see a theorem now. G is bicolorable if and only if it is a bipartite graph with at least one edge. Let's see the proof. Let G be bicolorable. That implies we can color the vertices of G with at most 2 colors. That implies that G has 2 color classes. That implies we can partition the vertex set of G into 2 sets V1 and V2 such that vertices of V1 are colored with one color and vertices of V2 are colored with the second color. Therefore, G is a bipartite graph and it has at least one edge. Let G be a bipartite graph with at least one edge. That implies vertex set of G is partitioned into 2 sets V1 such that no vertices of V1 are adjacent to the vertices of V2. That implies single color is needed to color G, but there is at least one edge in G, hence 2 colors are needed to color G. Therefore, G is bicolorable. Let us see a theorem. If every vertex of a graph G lies on at most k odd cycles for some non-negative integer k, then chi of G less than or equal to 1 plus square root of hk plus 9 whole divided by 2. Let us prove the theorem. If k is equal to 0, then G is bipartite. Thus, chi of G is less than or equal to 2 and the theorem follows. Hence, we may assume that k greater than or equal to 1. Let T is equal to 1 plus square root of hk plus 9 divided by 2. Since k greater than or equal to 1, it follows that T is also greater than or equal to 3. We proceed to prove by induction on the order n of the graph. Since chi of G less than or equal to T for all graphs of order T or less, the basis step holds. Assume for an integer n greater than or equal to T, that is, if H is any graph of order n with the property that every vertex of H lies on at most k odd cycles, then chi of H less than or equal to T. We show that this statement holds for graphs of order n plus 1. Let G be a graph of order n plus 1 having the property that every vertex of G lies on at most k odd cycles. We show that chi of G less than or equal to T. Let V be a vertex of G, then G difference V has order n and every vertex of G minus V lies on at most k odd cycles. By the induction hypothesis, chi of G difference V, that is G minus V, less than or equal to T, let there be given a T coloring of G minus V. Since T is equal to 1 plus square root of 8k plus 9 divided by 2, it follows that 1 plus square root of 8k plus 9 divided by 2 less than or equal to T, and so k less than or equal to T2 minus T minus 2 divided by 2 is that is equal to TC2 minus 1. Among the TC2 pairs of distinct colors used in the T coloring of G difference V, there is at least one pair, say red, blue of colors not used to color the two neighbors of V in any odd cycle of G containing V. Let G dash be the subgraph of G difference V induced by those vertices of G colored red or blue. Necessarily then G dash is a bipartite graph. If no red vertex of G dash is a neighbor of V in G, then V can be colored red and so chi of G less than or equal to T. Hence, we may assume that G dash contains one or more red vertices that are neighbors of V in G. Let G1 dash, G2 dash, etc. Gs dash, where S greater than or equal to 1 be the components of G dash containing a red neighbor of V in G. We claim that none of these components of G dash also contains a blue neighbor of V in G, for otherwise some component G I dash where I lies between 1 and S contains a red vertex U and a blue vertex W that are both neighbors of V in G. Then G dash contains a UW path P which is necessarily of odd length. The cycle C obtained from P by adding the vertex V and the two edges U, V and VW is an odd cycle of G containing V where the two neighbors of V on C are colored red and blue, that is impassable. Thus, as claimed, none of the components G1 dashed, G2 dashed, etc. Gs dashed of G dash contains a blue neighbor of V in G. Interchanging the colors red, blue in each of these components produces a T coloring of G difference V in which no neighbor of V is colored red. Assigning V the color red yields a T coloring of G, hence chi of G less than or equal to T, hence we proved the theorem. Let us see another theorem. For any graph chi of G less than or equal to 1 plus maximum of del of G dashed, where the maximum is taken over all induced subgraphs G dashed of G. Let us see the proof. Let G be an arbitrary n chromatic graph with n greater than or equal to 2 and H be a smallest induced subgraph satisfying the condition chi of H is equal to n. Therefore, chi of H minus V is equal to n minus 1 for all points V in H. Degree of V greater than or equal to n minus 1. Therefore, minimum degree of H, that is delta of H, is greater than or equal to n minus 1, where the maximum is taken over all induced subgraphs H dashed of H. Since H is the smallest subgraph of G, all induced subgraphs G dashed of G n minus 1 less than or equal to delta of H less than or equal to maximum delta of H dashed less than or equal to maximum delta of G dashed, where maximum H is taken for all induced subgraphs G dashed of G. Now, n minus 1 is less than or equal to maximum of delta of G dashed and n is less than or equal to 1 plus maximum of delta of G dashed. That implies chi of G is less than or equal to 1 plus maximum of delta of G dashed. Let us see another theorem. Every tree with n greater than or equal to 2 vertices is 2 chromatic. For this, we are going to take a tree with n greater than or equal to 2 vertices and we are going to consider a vertex V of that tree and we are going to assume that T to be rooted at V and we are going to color V by using the color C1. Then assign color C2 to all vertices adjacent to this V and let V1, V2, etc. Vr be those vertex which have been assigned color C2. Now, assign color C1 to all vertices which are adjacent to V1, V2 and so on up to Vr. Continue this process until all the vertices of T are colored. From this, all vertices at odd distance from V are colored C2 and vertices at even distance from V are colored C1. Therefore, along any path in T, the vertices are of alternating colors. Since there is one and only path between any two vertices in a tree, no two adjacent vertices have the same color. Hence, T is 2 chromatic. Other theorem goes like this. A cycle of length n greater than or equal to 3 is 2 chromatic if n is even and that is equal to 3 if n is odd. Proof. We will label the vertices of the cycle Cn as 1, 2, etc. n and assign one color to odd vertices, another to even. If n is even, no adjacent vertices have the same color. Therefore, chromatic number of Cn, chi of Cn is equal to 2. If n is odd, first and nth vertex are adjacent and have the same color. Therefore, color one of the vertices with third color and hence chi of Cn is equal to 3. Other theorem says a graph is bicolorable if and only if it has no odd cycle. For this, we are going to take a connected graph with cycles of only even length and a spanning tree T in G. Then by the theorem, every tree with n greater than or equal to 2 vertices is 2 chromatic. T can be colored with 2 colors. Now, add the chords to T one by one. As G contains cycles of even length only, the n vertices of every chord get different colors of T, and hence G is colored with 2 colors and chromatic number of G is equal to 2. Conversely, let G be bicolorable. Suppose G has an odd cycle, then G is 3 chromatic, which is a contradiction. Therefore, G has no odd cycles. Another result, any k chromatic graph has at least k vertices of degree at least k minus 1 each. For this, we are going to take a k chromatic graph G and let H be k critical subgraph of that graph G. Then, every vertex of H has degree at least k minus 1 in H and hence in G. Since H is k chromatic, H has at least k vertices, hence we prove the theorem. And next, we are going to prove a theorem, actually that is an inequality. If G is a graph of order n, then n divided by alpha of G less than or equal to chi of G, that is less than or equal to n minus alpha of G plus 1. Suppose that chi of G is equal to k, and let there be given a k coloring of G with resulting color classes V1, V2, etc. Vk. Since n is equal to cardinality of V of G, that is equal to summation taken over cardinality of V8, that is less than or equal to k alpha of G, it follows that n divided by alpha of G less than or equal to chi of G. Next, let U be a maximum independent set of vertices of G and assign the color 1 to each vertex of U. Assigning distinct colors different from 1 to each vertex of V of G minus U produces a proper coloring of G, and hence chi of G less than or equal to cardinality of V of G minus U plus 1, that is equal to n minus alpha of G plus 1. According to the above theorem, for the complete 3-parted graph G, that is equal to k 1, 2, 3, which has order 6 and independence number 3, we have n divided by alpha of G is equal to 2 less than or equal to chi of G less than or equal to 4, that is equal to n minus alpha of G plus 1. Since G is a complete 3-parted graph, it follows that chi of G is equal to 3, and so neither bound in theorem 6 is attained in this case. Let us see some more theorem. If G is a k critical graph, then G is connected, the first statement, and the next statement delta of G greater than or equal to k minus 1, the third one, G has no pair of subgraphs G1 and G2, for which G is equal to G1 union G2 and G1 intersection G2 is a complete graph. Fourth statement, G minus V is connected for every vertex V of G provided k greater than 1. We are going to prove the first statement. For that, assume that G is not connected. Since chi of G is equal to k and G is disconnected, then a component G1 of G such that chi of G1 is equal to k. If V is any vertex of G which is not in G1, then G1 is a component of the subgraph of G minus V. Therefore, chi of G minus V is equal to chi of G, that is equal to k, that is a contradiction since G is k critical. Therefore, G should be connected. For the second statement, assume that delta of G less than or equal to k minus 1. Then there is a vertex V of G such that D of V less than k minus 1. Since G is k critical, chi of G minus V is equal to k minus 1. Since d of v is less than k minus 1, at most k minus 2 vertices are incident with v. Those vertices use at most k minus 2 colors in this k minus 1 coloring of g minus v. Now, color v with new color and this will give k minus 1 coloring of graph G, that is a contradiction since G is critical, that is chi of G is equal to k. Therefore, delta of G greater than or equal to k minus 1. For the third condition, let G is equal to G1 union G2 where G1 and G2 are subgraphs with G1 intersection with G2 is equal to K1. Since G is K critical, G1 and G2 both have chromatic number at most K minus 1. Consider K minus 1 coloring of G1 and K minus 1 coloring of G2. Since G1 intersection G2 is complete, every vertex in G1 intersection G2 has different color in each of the K minus 1 colorings. Now, rearrange the colors of G2 such that it assigns the same color to each vertex in G1 intersection G2 as given by the coloring of G1. Combining the two colorings, we have a K minus 1 coloring of G. That is a contradiction since chi of G is equal to K. Therefore, there is no subgraph of type G1, G2 exist. Fourth condition, for that, assume that G minus V is disconnected for some vertex V in G. Then, G minus V has a subgraph H1 and H2 with H1 union H2 is equal to G minus V and H1 intersection H2 is equal to empty set. Let G1 and G2 be the subgraphs of G where G1 is induced by H1 and H1 and V while G2 is induced by H2 and V. Then G is equal to G1 union G2 and G1 intersection G2 is equal to K1. This contradicts the third statement, which means G minus V is connected. Conclusion, dear learners, in this module we have seen about vertex coloring, chromatic number, independent set, independent number, critical graph and some theorems related to it. We discuss some examples also. I encourage you to try some more examples and refer some more theorems related to this concept. I hope this will be useful to you in future. Thank you so much. We will meet again.